fellow countrymen and women, especially the Bazukuru, as we work towards realizing Uganda's Vision 2040, it is important that we plan based on accurate information about our people and our resources. I therefore would like to announce the 6th National Population and Housing Census that will start on the 10th of May 2024. The information from the National Population and Housing Census will support government, the private sector, cultural and religious institutions, civil society, and development partners in service delivery. It will also provide the basis for planning the provision of social services such as education, health, and transport, among many others, at the national and local levels. When data collectors or enumerators come to your home during the census, please avail yourselves and provide them with honest answers to their questions. This is in order to enable them to process the most accurate information about you, your household, institutions, and community. I therefore call upon all political, cultural, and religious leaders, private sector players, civil society, the media, and the institutions of the government to support this key national program. The successful execution of this census will influence the well-being of all Ugandans and progress the country towards the desired socio-economic transformation. I wish you all a successful census for God and my country.
A very good evening and thank you so much for watching UCTV. My name is Nora Osende. It is the 9th of May 2024 and the 9th of May is a very significant day in Uganda today. It is a census night and so many of us, you and I, are getting ready to get involved in the National Population and Housing Census of 2024. This is a day that just comes every 10 years. It is a day that we all need to be prepared for, and we look forward to each and every one of us to be counted. Now, as we get ready to be counted in the National Population and Housing Census, today we are going to discuss more about what this night exactly means. Now, with me in studio, we have a gentleman from the Uganda Bureau of Statistics, that Mr. Muwonge James, who is exactly Director Methodology and Statistics Coordinator Service. Mr. Muwonge, you're very welcome. Thank you so much for making time.
Thank you and good evening, viewers.
Well, let's start off with the first things. Today is the 9th of May, and it is a very significant time and a very significant day in Uganda.
Yes.
Why is today the census night? Why is this called the census designated night?
Thank you. When we are planning for a census, we said, okay, in 10 years we shall have a census. But we always refer, there are two ways of looking at a census. You look at those who are usually there, who are usually present, but also we look at those who spent the night there, which we call a de facto census. Now, we follow what we call a de facto census. That's where you spent the night. Now, this night is the night that we decided that census will start, on 10th. And so today is the night, the special night, that will determine where you are counted from. And so wherever you stay tonight, we shall always refer, and whoever comes to enumerate you will ask you, where did you spend the night of 9th, leading to 10th? And whatever the response will determine whether they enumerate you there or they should have enumerated you where you spent the night. So it is very important that we get to know, to remember the night of 9th, because even when they come 10 days or 9 days after, they will still refer to this night, that where did you spend the night of 9th. So it is very important, and I would urge all of us to remember, especially those who work from different places or who are traveling, to remember where they are spending this night, because this is the night that we'll be referring to. And every enumerator is coming to your home or finding you wherever you'll be, they'll be asking you, where did you spend this night of 9th? So it is a special night.
It is indeed a very special night. I can see. That means that whatever questions that will follow up will basically lead to the night of this very night, 9th of May 2024. And with that, I'm just wondering what happens to the floating population or to the people without exactly residence?
Yeah, now that's a special category that we are going to focus on first. These are people who are staying on the streets. They are also, as you know, Uganda is a transit route to our neighboring countries. Trucks move from Kenya through Uganda to DRC, to Rwanda, and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those will also be counted. As long as this night finds them in Uganda, we are going to count them. Now, there are also those who are the street children, those who sleep on the streets. We also be counting them. Now, those ones are going to be counted tonight. And so, because we will not wait for tomorrow morning, because by tomorrow, in the morning, they will have gone.
So the street children, people who don't have permanent residence, for example, the street children and people on the streets are going to be counted tonight?
Yes.
We won't wait for tomorrow?
No. Because then tomorrow, you not know whether, you know, like for the street children, you have to count them because that's the only way to know that they are staying on the street. That is when you find them on the street.
Right.
Yeah. So by the truck drivers, if they are here and they are setting off, they also be counted. There are also those who will be in buses, ready to go. So they are going to be counted even probably before midnight because the buses usually leave maybe slightly before midnight. So all of those who are in transit to different destinations are going to be counted. So
if we go back to the street kid thing, I just want to know, is there a special way that these children are going to be counted, special way it has been organized?
Yes, for a city like, let me take an example like KCCA, their organization, KCCA has made arrangements to reach out to these special groups. We have the people who sleep in drainage channels.
Right.
And you know, there are also those street children. Now, KCCA has made arrangements whereby they are going to reach out to their leaders or those who they are comfortable with to be able to reach out to these people and have them counted.
Interesting. Is there a way of knowing that this one has been counted, the other one hasn't been counted?
Well, interestingly, they know where they are, where they stay, and we go through they are going to go through their structures. They have leaders and whom they believe in, so they know where they are. And in the different divisions of the city, they are going to start working on that immediately. Okay.
So away from that, we just want to talk a little more about what are some of the benefits of the population census to this country. We can't talk enough about the benefits because each time we are out there, we get the same question. Some people wonder, how do I benefit from this? Some people feel like we just need to really re-emphasize the benefit of this population census, not just to me, but to even the person out there watching.
Yeah, very true. Indeed, people have been asking, why do you count us? Don't you know how many we are? But the issue is, we may have some ideas of how many we are, but we don't know the exact number. And people, as I said, people die and people are born. So every day, every minute, someone is being born. And so we need to know to give a total count of how many we are. But the census is not only about counting people to know the numbers. We also need to look at how do we plan for these numbers? What are the services that people enjoy or people should access for them to have a better living standard, standard of living? Now, for many people are saying, why do you count us? Why should we be counted? but they have children who are supposed to go to school. They fall sick. The children have to be immunized, but also, they need health facilities, irrespective of age bracket. Both the elderly and the young, they need these services. Now, if you don't know the numbers to plan for, it becomes very difficult to actually come up with better services or improvement in service delivery, because you not have numbers. Usually what happens, there is underestimation of either the supplies or the requirements because of inadequate numbers. And so we need to have that. But that's in terms of service delivery. But also government has to plan, and local governments where we reside, they need to plan for not only service delivery, but also in terms of the infrastructure that is needed, in terms of looking at how best can we bring closer the market and the goods that people consume. Now, if you don't know the numbers, then you are going to be grappling in the dark. Planning without numbers, is really not planning at all.
Right.
Yes.
Well, we all need this census. From the looks of it, it's going to help with the planning, service provision, and so much more. But why is it exactly very important to count each and every individual despite of the demographic? Let's say the little babies, the lame people, every demographic in this nation has to be counted. Why is that so important?
First of all, every individual, whether a baby a day old or a 90-year-old, requires certain services. They eat, they consume food, they consume health care, they consume services of education, they actually move from one point to the other, they migrate to go to other places. So we need to find out many, many things. And so we need to know for each category, they have specific requirements. The babies need specific requirements. Those who are the youth also have their specific unique requirements. The adults and the elderly, they also have unique requirements. Now you find that if you don't get to know the requirements of each individual group or specific group, then you're going to make assumptions to assume that everybody requires this service. And yet some may not need it, or others may need a different service. And so you need everybody. You need to know what are the requirements for the children who are below 1 year, because if you don't do that, the chances of them dying is higher, increases.
Right.
So how do we make sure that the children that are born live to celebrate their first birthday, the 5th birthday, and even 70th birthday? That's the wish, is to live longer. But you can only live longer if there are the adequate services that in case you fall sick, you can seek appropriate care. And if one is to live and compete in this environment where it's becoming a global village, as they say, we are in the East African community market.
Yes.
So there is free movement of labor and persons. Now, if you are to move from Uganda to another neighboring country, you need to make sure that to be with certain skills that probably that can compete with those people elsewhere. Now, if you have not acquired the adequate education, then you have a disadvantage. So education becomes the key. Now, these, they look obvious and they seem that they should be availed, but the distribution of where to place a school, a health facility, is largely dependent on the population that is serving.
Yes.
Yes. So individuals matter.
Individuals do matter, and you talked about service. I just want to ask, who are the primary users of this data that's being collected, and how is this data utilized? You've mentioned a few areas, but you can expand a little more.
In terms of users, virtually all of us use the data. It depends on how one looks at it. At national level, it informs the development frameworks. We have the National Development Plan at a national level, and it is a very key input into that planning process. This year will be, the National Planning Authority will be finalizing the National Development Plan, the 4th National Development Plan. And census information will become key, will provide baseline information on a number of aspects. So at a national level, it becomes quite important. At the local governments plan for the different services. As you may be aware, the services that government offers at national level are executed through local governments, because that's where service delivery takes place. Now, they need the numbers to know how is the population distributed across the different parishes and sub-counties and local governments. But also, what are the challenges that these people face? So they need the numbers at that level. But also look at ourselves in the communities where we live. We need to know there are communities where say, oh, there are so many people who stay in this area as opposed to another area. But maybe the services are inadequate. So even in our communities where we reside, we should be interested in knowing, how many we are, what do most of us do, or what are the common services that we share. So it's really important to know that every one of us, it benefits all of us.
Right, it does benefit all of us. And this time around, this census is digitalized,
Yes.
which I think poses so many advantages. It's going to be collected in real time, and the results actually will be faster. And there won't be as many hiccups. But besides some of the benefits that we see with it, what are some of the roadblocks or the hiccups that you foresee that may arise in this census?
Well, not quite many. We have tried to put mitigation measures in case there is low internet connection. We have made arrangements with the telecom companies. But of course, the current challenge that I see is raining in many parts. In our neighbors, neighboring countries, there are floods. Mm-hmm. We hope and pray that the floods will not come during the period we are, enumerating the people. But where we have had floods, we are making arrangements we'll be working with the local governments to see how we still reach those people who are cut off, if they are cut off, because we hope that in 10 days, we should be able to actually reach everyone. So weather conditions may be a key challenge, but that said, we still have to endure and make sure that during this period, everyone is reached and counted.
Well, we are discussing the National Population and Housing Census. Today is the census night. It is May 9th, 2024, and everyone has to be counted. It is important that you and I are counted. When we come back, we are still going to talk about the National Population and Housing Census. We'll talk more about the restriction of movement and so much more.
UCTV. Good news for all.
Ronaldo down in the area, penalty!
Don't miss the Sports Link on UCTV. Catch us every Monday to Friday from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. as we take you into the thrilling world of sports in football.
And Messi! Thuram! Mbappe! Saka shoot, deflects in, Arsenal have the lead!
Netball,
Nasanga taking the shot, and look at that exceptional steal.
motorsports, boxing,
Another.
swimming, and much more. UCTV Sports Link with Samgenza Mustafa. Only on UCTV. Good news for all. Catch incredible stories of resilience,
success.
You can manage that money.
With a topping of inspiration.
Get interested in people, not interested in yourself.
Inspire, achieve, repeat.
Fellow countrymen and women, especially the Bazukuru, as we work towards realizing Uganda's Vision 2040, it is important that we plan based on accurate information about our people and our resources. I therefore would like to announce the 6th National Population and Housing Census that will start on the 10th of May 2024. The information from the National Population and Housing Census will support government, the private sector, cultural and religious institutions, civil society, and development partners in service delivery. It will also provide the basis for planning the provision of social services such as education, health, and transport, among many others, at the national and local levels. When data collectors or enumerators come to your home during the census, please avail yourselves and provide them with honest answers to their questions. This is in order to enable them to process the most accurate information about you, your household, institutions, and community. I therefore call upon all political, cultural, and religious leaders, private sector players, civil society, the media, and the institutions of the government to support this key national program. The successful execution of this census will influence the well-being of all Ugandans and progress the country towards the desired socio-economic transformation. I wish you all a successful census for God and my country.
And welcome back from that break. My name is Nora Sende. We are discussing the census night. It is tonight, May the 9th, 2024. With me in studio, we have Mr. James Muwonge from Uganda Bureau of Statistics, shedding light on this very night and everything to deal with the National Housing and Population Census. The thing about this night is that everyone that is going to be counted, or all of us should be counted basing on the information that you give about this night. And this night has been gazetted. Well, before we left off, we were talking about different things, but as we were discussing, a topic about restrictions came up. We see a little bit of roadblocks on the road, and some people are wondering, is this connected to the census? Is movement restriction? Well, the right person is here just to discuss that with us. Mr. Muwonge, yes. Tell us more about restriction of movement. Is there going to be restriction of movement with the roadblocks that we see?
No, actually, everyone is free to move. Mm-hmm. There's no restriction to movement. You can move according to your plans. No one is going to stop you. The checkpoints are really to be able to determine those who are going to be transiting through, because the census night, the night is going to find them in these cities. Mm-hmm. Or en route. Now, the checkpoints are to find out whether people have already been enumerated or not. If not, they will be actually enumerated. Those are the bus parks. The process will start probably before midnight, so that they are captured. Now, when they are enumerated, as they travel out, they have identification to show which is. When they ask, they just tell them, no, we have been already counted, and their mechanism of how they are going to deal with that. So the people should not worry about the checkpoints. It is just to ensure that those who are transiting through have been counted. And if they are not, they will just ask you a few questions and then you proceed. So security, there will be the people who are counting will be well identified, mm-hmm. but also they'll be working with the security, because as you know, roadblocks, security checkpoints are manned by, it has to be police. Mm-hmm. And so the security, we are working in collaboration with security agencies to make sure that during the night, everyone is safe. Even the enumerators, those who are going to enumerate, are also safe. So we hope that it will go on smoothly.
Yeah, we hope that it goes on smoothly, really, and that it does not really scare people off so much. Now that we're talking about movement and restriction of movement, what about people who cannot exactly move on this night? For example, factory workers that have to stay overnight at work. How are those going to be catered for in this data that is being collected?
Okay, now there are exceptions. Those who work and they are working in shifts and they have to work during the night, we will count them in their households, in their homes,
yes,
much as they are at work in the night, okay, as opposed to those who are transiting. Okay, so the factory workers...
Those are completely two different categories.
Yes.
Those who are transiting and
yeah,
those who are immobile.
Yeah, because they are working in the night, but sometimes they work during the day. The medical workers, they work in the night, at night, but they also work during day.
Right.
So they are there because of the nature of the work they do. And so those ones, we count them in their households. Now, so those ones, it will not so much be a problem. Those who are even security personnel, okay, who are working because they are night duty, they will be counted in their places of residence.
Talking about people being counted, the mobile people, the ones that are stationed in the same place, immobile people, and then we have a different category of people, and these are people in the diaspora.
Yes.
And now that you know that we have so many companies that churn out labor workers, especially in the Middle East, we have a huge chunk of people that are working that side.
Yes.
How are those going to be included into our census, or how do we account for such people?
Of course, on the census night, they'll not be in the country. We may not get them as individuals, but they come from households. Now, there are questions in the questionnaire that ask whether there is any member of this household who migrated or went out for one reason or the other, and where they went. So we capture that information. So we get to know how many of those are actually out and what they are doing. Yes.
Now that we are using, you know, the digital means of capturing data, it seems it will be a little bit easier. When do we expect these results? I hope it won't be, you know, ages to come. When do you think these results will be out?
Well, we have planned that 1 month after the end of the enumeration, we should be able to produce the preliminary results.
1 month?
1 month after. We shall talk about the numbers and maybe by sex and a few other characteristics. Then by September, we'll be able to provide some provisional results with a little more detail on maybe by location and so on. Then in December, we hope to provide the full detail results that are coming out of the census. So there will be quite a number of different thematic reports, but we believe within, you know, by the time 7 months, December, within 6 months from now, it's June to December, we should be able to release the full range of results.
Well, that's fast. That's record time of release. We hope it goes according to as it has been planned. The other thing that I would really want to know is that now there has been questions about the census night and then tomorrow being a public holiday. Now, to some people, they think it's going to be a whole 10-day public holiday. Please emphasize the fact that it is just tomorrow that is going to be the public holiday.
Yeah, so government has gazetted tomorrow as a public holiday. And it is a public holiday because it is the start of the enumeration. It is a Friday, so people, the enumerators are going to get to you in your homesteads. Now, the following day will be a Saturday and then Sunday. It is because of the many people who stay in a given community. An enumerator is supposed to cover a certain number of households. So they will cover as many as they can cover in a day. Please, if they don't come to your home on tomorrow, don't lose hope that you waited the whole day and they didn't come. They may come on Saturday, they may come on Sunday. But all this depends on the number of people and where they started from. Because they may start at the beginning of the LOC and you are staying in the valley, which is at the end of the LOC. So they may reach you on Thursday. Please don't lose hope that they have not come. And so the public holiday is only for Friday. So the other days, when you start Monday, Tuesday, there will be no more working days. But if they come and there are people at home, please leave the information at home so that the people who will stay at home are able to provide the information. In case you are staying alone, then the LOC, because the enumerator is going to be coming to your home in the company of either the LOC chairperson or the LOC1 official. So they'll be able to agree with you the appropriate time to come back and enumerate you, because we need your information and be able to find the most convenient time when you'll be able to give us this information.
Is there a possibility of extension in case this enumeration does not exactly meet the deadline?
Well, we have made plans to make sure that we should be able to move one enumerator from one point to the other to come and provide support to finish within the 10 days. But should circumstances dictate that way, then a decision will be made on a case-by-case basis.
So the sensitization campaign when it comes to the National Population and Housing Census, what strategies have you so far used in making sure that everyone out there at least gets knowledge of what is exactly happening? I'm glad you're here tonight, but what other avenues are there for people to gather this information? Yeah,
we started the campaign quite some time back in December when the president launched the census. We raised the sensitization drive, and now we have been at various channels, using various channels to reach out to the communities and also the general public. We are using also the social media. We have also partnered with the local governments, and the local governments are also doing the dissemination. We have had engagements with different stakeholders, the religious leaders. Today we had civil society organizations. We've had other engagements with a number of other stakeholders. Now, and the idea was to make them champions, to go out and sensitize the public and mobilize. We also met the members of parliament, and the minister was also rallying support from the cabinet and also MPs. So we have had engagements with the different stakeholders, basically to communicate the message, but more importantly, for them to actually inform their constituencies of the importance of this census. And so we've tried. We have also reached out to different radios to make sure that there are these local radios in different districts, and there are messages also which we have tried to share with them. The information kit that has been prepared for the different stakeholders to pass on the message. So we've tried our best, but I think our appeal is whoever hears the message, please pass on that message to those who may not be near either the TV or may not be near a radio. Surely, everyone. It is a concerted effort, and we need all these people, all different stakeholders to be involved in this as we organize and look forward to being counted in the National Population and Housing Census. The other thing that I really wanted us to talk about is how, security-wise, security has always come up as a concern when it comes to the National Population Census, especially tonight, make us understand more about security. As I said, we, as a bureau, we are working with the local governments and the city authorities, but also we're working with security organizations. Security of the enumerator is quite important because we want to make sure that we come out of this exercise secure. So the local government, that's why we are saying that enumeration is going to be during day. There's not going to be enumeration at night, other than what I talked about on the first day, because the transiting people will be only on this night to night. So the subsequent days from 10th onwards, it will be enumeration during day. And these people will be coming, they are well identified, they have reflector jackets or identifiers, and when they are coming to your areas or your homes, they will be in the company of the LOC. But also we have the local governments have engaged and at the district level, because there is a district census committee established in every district, and the police and the RDCs are part of that committee. So they have been discussing how best to secure the whole process, and we believe as security, I think they are doing a good job. We hope that they will be able to support us, as they have already done, because they have provided us with even transport to take some of this equipment up country. So we are very grateful to the security agencies, the UPDF, Uganda Prisons, the internal security and others. They have actually, we've used their transport a lot and we are still using it. And so police also is coming in. So security, I would like to, from what I've seen and the discussions that I've participated in, I think they have assured us that all is set.
All is set,
All is set.
especially security-wise,
Yes.
and it encompasses different aspects. The other question that I want to lead into when it comes to preparation, when it comes to security, we just want to know exactly how, for example, what are some of the questions, if I may ask, that will be on the questionnaires? Just briefly give people a little bit of idea of what are some of those questions they should expect.
Well, some of the questions is that the people you live with in the household, who is the head of household, the spouse and the children and the relatives you live with, what are the education levels or the different members in the household. If for those who fell sick, when you fall sick, where do you seek care? For those who fell sick, where do they go for treatment? Where do you get water for drinking, sources of water? The conditions of the houses, the house you live in, is it made of permanent material or temporary, both roof, floor and the floor? We look at also what you do, what's your occupation, and for all the members in the household. Of course, for health, we are interested in also looking at for those children who are below 5 years, whether they have been immunized, because it's important. We also look at birth certificates and whether they have a registration certificates. There are quite a couple of other questions as well. We look at, for cities, they have always been asking and arguing that there is so much depopulation that comes through the cities but stay out of the city. Many people come to Kampala to work and go back to other districts. So we have questions that try to ask those who have come to Kampala or other cities as well for work, and the reasons why they are coming in there. Of course, we would like to look at what people own in terms of assets. Do you have what you have, okay, in the household? And then also we have a question that relates to the community. We ask where the services are, what services exist. Is there a primary school? Is there a health facility? Is there a place where there are markets? Is there a police station? So there are questions that we ask which provide services that are enjoyed by all the people. Now, of course, there are questions we ask about refugees as well. We have people who have come, who are displaced in other places, so they have come in as refugees. We have also ask questions about them. Then the questions about people who have moved out. We talked about those who are our sisters who have gone to the Middle Eastern brothers to work. Yes, there are questions of those who have migrated, much as we have those who have come in. We also ask about those who have gone, and when did they go, and what do they do. But even so beyond that, also there are people who move, migration internally. You can move from Buikwe to come to Kampala, and the reason is to work. So we also ask about migration within. So there are quite a couple of questions.
So how many do we expect averagely?
You see, as I said, all these questions don't apply to one person. You may find that I'm 40 years, so questions of immunization don't apply.
Exactly.
There are questions about the children a woman has given birth to, don't apply to a male. So there will be skips which apply. So there are enough. When you look at questions from one to the last one, they look so many, but they apply to specific population groups. So people, listeners and viewers should not actually get worried that, oh, I think this is a big questionnaire. There are questions that are relevant to a particular age group.
So it won't be just a huge questionnaire, but every question is tailor-made for specific groups.
Yes.
So some may work for another and some may not work for another.
Yes.
Well, as we wind up, we just want to, what is the role of the local leaders in this, and how can they help in mobilizing the locals to partake of this census that's upcoming? And your last remarks as you answer that.
Local leaders, we call upon you to mobilize the communities to actually participate in the enumeration exercise. It's very important that all members of your community are actually enumerated. And our appeal is start tomorrow morning. Let us mobilize. Let us be there to be counted. If they don't come tomorrow, please don't lose hope. They will still come in the remaining 9 days. So it matters to be counted, and let us prepare starting tomorrow to be part of this census exercise in 2024. So that in history also, so that I was counted in 2024, start on May 10th.
Exactly.
So I wish you all the best and a good evening as we prepare for tomorrow.
Well, thank you so much, Mr. Mwonge. That has been very insightful. Thank you. And to you out there, thank you so much for spending this time with us as we discuss the National Population and Housing Census of 2024. Tonight is the gazetted night. It is the census night, 9th of May 2024. Organize, be ready to be counted. It does matter for you and I to be counted. My name is Nora Osende. Thank you so much for staying with us. Do have a good evening.
Fellow countrymen and women, especially the Bazukuru, as we work towards realizing Uganda's Vision 2040, it is important that we plan based on accurate information about our people and our resources. I therefore would like to announce the 6th National Population and Housing Census that will start on the 10th of May 2024. The information from the National Population and Housing Census will support government, the private sector, cultural and religious institutions, civil society, and development partners in service delivery. It will also provide the basis for planning the provision of social services such as education, health, and transport, among many others, at the national and local levels. When data collectors or enumerators come to your home during the census, please avail yourselves and provide them with honest answers to their questions. This is in order to enable them to process the most accurate information about you, your household, institutions, and community. I therefore call upon all political, cultural, and religious leaders, private sector players, civil society, the media, and the institutions of the government to support this key national program. The successful execution of this census will influence the well-being of all Ugandans and progress the country towards the desired socio-economic transformation. I wish you all a successful census for God and my country.